And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, hi, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I've never figured that out. Like, what do I say after that? Like, I do the intro, and it's like, I never know what to say. Nothing feels natural.
The intro is natural. That's all that matters. And then I always try to hit you with a curveball.
Well, yeah, but... Well, the problem, what you do is you say something, but then there's literally nothing I can respond to with that. So now the onus is on me again to come up with something to say.
Yeah.
And I don't like the, how you doing? I don't know. That just seems like...
All right, try it again. Try it again. I got you.
What? We'll
start do the intro again.
From the start?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
All right.
And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, how about them Democrats?
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Just kill it.
Nope. No.
Okay.
Let me do it.
All right.
Just
try it
say
again.
hey. Just say hey. No. We don't have to try it again. It's gonna get worse.
Hey,
wow.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the Couch Company Podcast. I'm Tyler DeFazio. With me, as always. You don't say your last name. Okay.
No.
Hey, hi, hello.
Yeah. Why did you do that?
Welcome
that
to the Couch
weird.
Company Podcast. I'm Tyler, and with me, as always, John.
So excited to be here, Tyler.
Are you?
I was thinking this week.
Okay.
And I was actually thinking this week.
You think every week. That's good.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes.
Okay. What's up?
I don't know if it could be constituted as thinking, but it's something. So I was showing my buddy, he's never watched Harry Potter.
Okay.
And by that I mean he has watched Harry Potter, but he's always been distracted every time it's been on.
Is he watching with his significant other?
Well, his ex-girlfriend now, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Glad your brain went there.
Yeah.
Family-friendly show. But
no, I mean, look, if you... Okay, continue. We'll get there.
I will say, all right, so here's my first tangent of the day. That movie for me is The Notebook. I've never gotten through The Notebook.
Sure.
Because,
gets the people going.
I guess it's like a cheat code, actually. It's actually, I'm like 4 for 4.
Yep.
I don't know even what it is. I don't even know what The Notebook's about. Apparently, it's about a notebook and a cowboy, I think.
Is it about a notebook?
No. Yes. It has to be.
Dude, it's been,
Tyler, it has to be about a notebook.
While
it's called The Notebook.
It's been a while since I watched The Notebook.
I think it's something like someone's dead and she's writing, or someone wrote in this thing and it's recounting how they met or something. It's like telling about the past.
Yeah, it's not jogging a memory for me, but okay.
It's supposed to be sad, I think, and I think the guy wears a cowboy hat.
I don't know about that.
Everything I said might have been wrong.
It's Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
and
really?
The girl from Mean Girls.
Oh, no wonder. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah. No, not Lindsay Lohan. The other one.
Okay. I was like, well,
and
she's...
McAdams?
When you say the girl from Mean Girls, that's who your brain goes to.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you, except the fact that, what's Lindsay Lohan doing?
Yeah, but she is Mean Girls. She is a mean girl.
Yeah, I guess that's the end, right? She just turns out to be the mean one.
Deeper down the rabbit hole, they made a reboot.
Rachel McAdams. That's who I'm thinking.
Oh, the blonde?
Yeah.
Or
I don't think she's blonde in The Notebook, but yeah.
Okay. Is she the one that holds her boobs to tell the weather, or is she the one that used to be the head plastic and then got dethroned? Gotcha. I know my Mean Girls somewhat. I'm not as good as others, but I can hang.
You don't know The Notebook. That's fine.
Can hang.
Yeah.
Well, so whenever you watch Mean Girls with your significant other, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's actually good. So maybe The Notebook's not good, that they can be distracted. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or maybe it's like, you know what it's probably like? Did you ever see that episode of South? You're not a South Park guy, but there's an episode where apparently all musicals are just subliminal messaging to get your girlfriend to sleep with you, or it's give you a blowjob is specifically what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the funniest shit.
Sure.
But that's what the episode's about.
All musicals.
I think it's all musicals. Yeah.
So not every song in the musical, just the musical in general.
Yeah, because once the whole, it's been a while since I've seen this one, but it's once you flip that switch and you start realizing it, it's every word in the musical is blowjob or something. So they start singing all these numbers, just using that word.
I'm just trying to think of all the songs in Singing in the Rain.
I forget the one. I think the one that they were doing was Wicked, maybe.
Yeah, I never saw Wicked.
It might have been Wicked. I can't remember. Maybe I'm butchering all of these stories, but regardless, I digress to the original point.
Yeah, the Notebook. So it's the girl is the one making the move on you for the Notebook.
Well, I think it's probably mutual, but it's just something. But it always happens, I guess.
Okay.
I haven't really psychoanalyzed how it happened because I'm too busy just enjoying the fact that it's happening, but. Yeah, it's that movie. That is my movie. Maybe people have different movies. That's my movie. Because obviously my friend, which we'll go back to, yours is Dodgeball?
Yeah.
The Tale of an Underdog or whatever it's called.
Yeah, with the
Underdog Story. I know the movie.
Yeah.
The full title is though Dodgeball and Underdog Story, I think.
I couldn't tell you.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Dodgeball.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah.
This is a little bit Couch Company After Dark. It's probably like Couch Company Dusk.
It's not okay. Well, yeah, a little bit. It's like sure,
We're
a little
flirting
dusty.
with it.
Let's get out of our personal lives and go into
I'm just
your
saying.
thing.
I'm just saying. So my friend, it's Harry Potter for him, or was like this was a girlfriend back in the day, like a while
Harry Potter,
ago.
Any specific movie or just
Any of them?
Okay.
I think it's any of them.
Okay.
He says technically I've watched them all several times, and I couldn't tell you a single thing about
Good
it.
for him.
Yeah, dude.
At least 14.
Those are long movies too.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, you're kind of the man.
It's 8 movies or 7?
It's 8 because 7's split up into 2 parts, but also the individual movies are like 2.5 plus hours each, whereas the Notebook's like 100.
I feel like you gotta get
minutes.
maybe like 30 minutes in. Like you gotta
He didn't know
have
shit.
the opening.
I don't know, bro. I think I don't know what it was. So, anyways, the point being, we were watching Harry Potter for the first time, like watching.
Sure.
And I'm sitting on the other side of the couch from him.
I hope so.
What?
You know what happens when he started watching Harry Potter?
It might be like a Pavlov's
Or
dog.
I'm sorry, he's available now.
No, he's engaged.
Okay, well then I'm glad you're on the other side of the couch.
Exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Anyway, so we're watching it, and so it's really funny because in our friend group, David, who we've talked about on the podcast a lot, is like the Lord of the Rings guy.
Yeah.
So whenever we watch Lord of the Rings, we just turn to David and ask him all the questions. But now I am the new David for Harry Potter, and everyone's asking me questions.
Gotcha.
Because they don't know anything about it. So that's a responsibility I don't take lightly.
Is that good to have? Like
it's interesting
you like
because I don't dislike it because I want him to enjoy the movie. So like some people just like asking questions. So I get it. So I don't dislike it. Really flexes your like knowledge. Like
that's a lot, man. That's a lot of stuff to keep in the back of your mind. Yeah.
Like he's like, well, what time period is this? And do they know about that? And like, are they secret? And I'm like, yeah, yep.
You also read the books, so do you start getting those confused? Like how?
No, because I start really going hard where I'm like, well, in the books, blah 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 blah, but
yeah,
this is what happened here. Yeah.
What's your go-to? Like so, obviously, Aragorn kicks his helmet, breaks his toe.
Yeah,
everyone knows that.
Yeah.
What's your Harry Potter go-to?
My go-to like book versus movie, or
just like fun fact.
Oh,
thing,
fun fact. Ooh. I don't know if I have a fun fact. My usual go-to is I complain about the rules of Quidditch.
Oh, yeah.
How it doesn't make sense. Like anyone, I think I've done it on the podcast for all of you listening. It's like a 20-minute rant, and it doesn't make any sense. I did do research on that because he was asking me a specific question about Quidditch, which I didn't know the answer to, and it all makes sense now. So apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but this is on the Harry Potter wiki. She was writing the rules of Quidditch, or like the whole Quidditch thing.
J.K. Rowling was.
J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And she just broke up with her boyfriend or something. So she was really upset with men in general, I suppose. So she made the rules deliberately dumb because she thought it would upset men everywhere. Which,
That seems
far-fetched.
Yeah.
But that would make a lot of sense as to why the fuck the snitch is worth so many points. And you win the game.
Snitch is 100 though, right? Or what is it?
It's like 180 or something. Or 150.
So they in the Quidditch
and the game only
they
ends when the snitch is caught.
Yeah.
So it's like, but also, there's different rules for like the movie versus the books, which I always get them flip-flopped, but
in the game.
And in the game.
It.
Yeah. The game's probably the best rule set because it has to be fun.
It has to, I think it's actually not too bad.
Okay, here's my quick pitch for how Quidditch should be played.
All right.
There's 3 hoops. Each hoop should have a different point value associated. There should be a 10-point hoop, a 20-point hoop, and a 30-point hoop, and they should be different sized.
Are they not currently?
No, they're all worth 10. And they're
Even the
just
smaller hoops?
they're not smaller hoops. They're all the same size hoop. They're just different
location.
elevations.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's what I would do. I think that'd be more interesting, right? And then, because that's like kind of putting in like a 3-point shot-esque kind of deal, like basketball, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first rule I would do. The second rule I would do is, and I was thinking about this, maybe you don't release the snitch until partway through the game, like at halftime or something. I'm not 100% married to that. Maybe you can do it right away, because like, I think what would be interesting about that role is your seeker could be another, another player on the field.
Yeah.
Whether it's a, what are the regular guys called?
Like a bludgeoner?
No, bludger is the one who hits the beater.
Yeah.
Or no, it's the beater that hits the something. I don't know. Anyways.
It's the bludgeon.
I can't remember what like the actual people who are throwing the quaffle around are called.
Yeah.
Anyways, like you could have another attacker, right?
Yep. It might be called an attacker.
No, it's not. It's like I cannot remember. Anyways, so that would be interesting. Like, how do you play that? Would you want another beater on the field, or do you want another attacker?
Yeah.
Patent pending. So that's the second rule. And then the third rule, obviously, I think there needs to be a time limit instead of the game ends when the snitch is caught. That's like the only way the game ends. And I think the snitch should be an automatic victory and the game ends. And the snitch is really hard to catch.
Yeah.
So like you would want like the snitch percentage. It would be really cool. Like if you're looking at statistics for the season, it'd be like, oh, Harry Potter's got an 18% snitch catch rate, which is like really good or something. You would want it like below 20% or something, because you think about like 1 out of 5 games ends by snitch. Yeah. Right? That's kind of like in my head makes sense. Or 1 out of 4 games ends by snitch.
I don't know where they're going with it as far as like the actual game, because like they did announce it, so I think it might even be coming out this year.
Yeah.
But when we played it, the snitch I think was worth 50 or 60 points, and it was a 2-phase thing. So you have 2 seekers, and they're flying around, and the first phase is just trying to get in the vicinity of
like
the
locate
snitch.
It. Yeah.
And only when you're in the vicinity does the snitch actually appear. So it's almost like this radar, and like you have like a little icon saying like, oh, you're close or whatever. And then when you get close enough and you stay within the vicinity enough, it appears.
Yeah.
And then it's a mini game of the 2 seekers have to stay closer to the snitch for longer. So as they're flying around and everyone else is just playing normal Quidditch, the 2 seekers, you see the progress bars going. And, as the snitch is like flying around and stuff, the one closer, the progress bar is going. And it's 2 bars. So the first one to get the full progress bar, that's locked in, resets, and then they have to go find the snitch again. And they have to get 2 bars.
Phases,
First to 2 bars gets the 60 points, and then it resets. So that kind of mini game thing.
Oh, the game doesn't end.
No, it just keeps going. They just have 60 points.
Wow.
The games are all based off of a time limit, which I want to say is like between like 5-10 minutes.
I like that. So so I think in regards to the snitch, you could do a couple different things. It depends. It's all dependent on how hard is the snitch to catch.
Yeah.
If we're talking about quote unquote real Quidditch or whatever.
Right.
Well, real Quidditch is like the stupidest thing ever. Have you ever seen that?
Dude, people like like actual people like just running around on grass. Yeah.
When I was like doing my research for like the Quidditch rules, a lot of that shit came up, and I was like, dude, this, like, give it up, bro. Like, Quidditch is super cool in theory and concept until we get flying brooms, hoverboards, and stuff.
Yep.
Don't embarrass yourself.
Or
just play handball. Just play fucking handball.
I think you're closer to what's the Final Fantasy X?
Blitzball.
I think you're closer to Blitzball, where if you get some kind of like underwater propelled diving suits and things like that, I think
that's just extreme water polo, no?
Yeah. Well, but underwater.
Yeah, extreme water polo.
Okay, well, sure. Yeah.
The extreme part is submerging yourself underwater.
Yes, that's fair.
Tyler.
That's fair. Yeah. You have to hold your breath. So I think you're closer to that than flying. Obviously.
That's an interesting question. Probably, yeah. The fly, yeah. That I mean, Yeah, I agree.
It'd be cool.
Quidditch would be unbelievably dangerous. Like, if people fall, you're just going to die.
How cool would it be if they did it in outer space?
Quidditch?
Like, you're flying to Mars, and you're just playing Quidditch, but zero grav.
Well,
Quidditch.
yeah, you'd have to be able to propel yourself somehow, though. Like, you need some sort of contraption.
It would have to be in a sphere. Like, I don't know, Blitzball. It'd be cool.
Okay. Hey, no, you could do blitzball in space.
Yeah.
You do a lot of stuff in space. Blitzball would suck in space though, because like the ball would just go so slow, you wouldn't be able to throw it hard enough.
Yeah, I guess, but there could be maybe
like how do you not save the ball? It's coming at you at like 1 mile an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just rocket propelled somehow.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. So, anyways, he was watching Harry Potter, and he was asking about like the houses and stuff. So this was the exciting part. It's like,
Sorry,
know,
we're
like
back to the friend. Okay, it's like, wait,
yeah,
what?
we're going back to the original conversation. Okay, so, like, I started explaining the houses, like, you get put in the houses. They each have their own like unique traits or whatever. And there's like a quiz you can take, blah blah blah. And he's like, I wonder what house I would get. And he's definitely a Gryffindor, I think, which, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's not Hufflepuff, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, Hufflepuff sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but not really. You guys are the worst.
Got some good people in there.
Cedric Diggory?
Yeah.
And?
The Newt Scamander.
Oh, yeah, he was a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
But those movies sucked.
Oh, but main character, so...
Yeah, I'd rather be a side character in a good movie than a main character in a shitty movie.
I think the first, at least one, if not two. Honestly, I think the second one actually probably was better. I think both of them are better than a lot of the Harry Potter movies.
No. Probably not.
Would you like to
Okay.
put a cheeseburger on the Rotten Tomatoes score of 1 and 2 of Strange Beasts and Where to Find Them, or whatever it is?
Have you looked this up previously?
No, I haven't.
What does it have to beat?
All
All of the Harry Potters?
It beats more Harry Potter movies,
More than half?
if it beats the majority,
Yeah, so more than half?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll put I'll put a cheeseburger on that.
All right.
Sure.
Let's see.
So anyways,
continue.
So he was talking, and I was like, I sent him this graphic that's like all the defining traits of a Slytherin.
Okay.
And every other house. But anyways, like the Slytherin house is my house. And I'm like going down, and I'm like, oh yeah, so like here's Slytherin. This is what I got. And I might be the greatest Slytherin to ever live in the entire world.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're losing bad. Yeah, I knew.
It's the 9th best one.
So it loses to all of them?
No.
There's 8.
Yeah, it's. Oh wait. Yeah, it loses to every single one.
All right, well, chalk another cheeseburger up to me.
Yeah.
That's easy, dude. Harry Potter movies are goated.
They're not that good, man. I don't. Okay. Anyway,
What do you like over it?
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Like in the same breath of like a epic series saga.
I mean, obviously, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, that kind of thing. That doesn't count.
Star Wars counts.
I think
because Star Wars is like
Game of
8
Thrones,
movies,
all those are better. I think the
Game of Thrones is a TV
honestly,
show.
I think The Hobbit's better than Harry Potter. Yeah, I don't know. That would be I think The Hobbit probably would be the closest thing for me. And I think the Fantastic Beasts are better, but clearly I'm in the minority there.
Yeah, just like every other take you've ever had in your life.
Every take.
Most.
Continue what you're saying. I'm sorry.
All I'm saying is I'm a great Slytherin.
Yeah.
Might be the best ever. I'm reading down these traits and I hit every single one of them with flying
Do you have
colors.
them up? Do you have
No, I
the
don't have
trait?
them up.
Okay.
I should have them up, but I don't have them up. I don't need them up because I live them every day.
just look at me and that's what it is. Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
I will say, though, when you're on Pottermore and it's like, Slytherin house has a tendency to be labeled with evil people. That's not true.
Yeah.
So, like, when you have a disclaimer, like, we're not the bad guys, it makes you question
Except
things.
every bad guy's a Slytherin.
That's just poor writing.
Hey, I'm not,
I'm just saying, that's just poor writing. But
I'm just saying it's author.
Slytherin is literally the work smarter, not harder, which is my life motto. 100%.
Okay. How? Like, give me a for instance.
I feel like they're very cunning, so they're looking for ways to
Cheat?
beat the system. I would put it as
Cheat?
no.
Name an instance where a Slytherin, quote unquote, beat the system without trying to or succeeding cheating.
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay,
I'll get you there.
All right.
I'm just saying that you're jealous.
Nah, I don't.
100%.
Care. It's hard to get jealous when I don't care about the
That's
universe.
True. Yeah, like Ravenclaws are tryhards, but Slytherins, they're smarter.
Depending on the day, I keep going between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. Like, technically, Pottermore put me in Ravenclaw, and I was upset about that because I always saw myself as a Hufflepuff. So
apparently you can just ask the hat and it'll just change you.
Yep.
So
yeah,
like whatever.
Although I think we talked about this in the Harry Potter game. The first few people I talked to in the Hufflepuff house were talking about how they hated being in the Hufflepuff house.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
not a good start.
You guys are memes, bro. Like,
yeah, that's all right.
Also, isn't your house or dormitory like in the kitchens?
Yeah,
that's so dumb.
That's baller. That's
terrible.
The best,
dude. Ours is in a dungeon.
I want a midnight snack. I'm gonna go get a delicious insert food here.
I want a midnight scheme. I'm already in the dungeon.
Yeah, a midnight work smarter ploy.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not a scheme.
Yeah, it's not a scheme.
Sure.
It's more of a work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool though, dude. We can see the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
So we get to see all the magic creatures.
It's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's cooler than fucking kitchens.
Oh, you hungry? Boom. Eat it.
Yeah, great. Hufflepuffs are all eating good over there. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. I didn't go to Hogwarts to eat.
I
went to Hogwarts to learn how to.
But why not? Like, why not have some good food while you're here?
I do when it's my scheduled meal time. I don't need to go at 2 a.m. like a good heathen.
Who? It's the elves are the ones cooking, right?
Yeah, elves are like it's interesting. The elves are like OP in every fantasy world except Harry Potter.
I thought they were still OP.
They're OP. They're oppressed, and that's actually not true. I think Nate was telling me that Dragon Age, the elves are in a similar predicament. So maybe I'm totally wrong on that. I think I might.
I don't know a thing about Dragon Age.
Nate told me that in Dragon Age, elves are like slaves as well or something.
You sure Dragon Age and not Witcher?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
they're
Dragon
oppressed
Age.
in The Witcher.
Yeah, I think they're oppressed in Dragon Age too.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was telling me. I can't remember, but and then like Divinity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're oppressed, but they're definitely weird. They like eat body parts to.
The elves do?
Yeah, don't you remember? That was a big mechanic in that game.
I don't.
You
I don't remember
eat,
a lot about Divinity.
You could eat someone, and then you could tell like their life story. Maybe not their whole story, but like how they died or something. Yeah, it was a whole thing, dude. You don't remember that mechanic?
In the first or the second one?
In both, I think. Definitely in the second one. Definitely in the second one. Yeah. You can like eat body parts and stuff.
All right.
It's really weird. That's what I was saying. It's like, ugh, I don't like that lore.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't.
You'd think I would remember that.
No, you're too busy waddling around as a fucking
playing
dwarf.
the same intro over and over and over and over.
I don't know. I tried. I tried my best. I still haven't beaten that game. We got to Act 3. We never beat it.
It's not even in my top 100.
Which is a shame because, like, it's a great game.
Yeah.
All right.
No, like it is. It is. Like,
well, you haven't even beat Baldur's Gate, so I mean, maybe you just don't like that
Baldur's
kind
Gate's
of game.
in my top 100.
Oh, well, I hope so.
Yeah, that's why.
You done with that list?
Yes, I have my at least top 100. They're not ranked. In fact, I probably have more in there than 100. So I got to trim it down and I got to rank them.
Damn, I gotta get on that then.
I have every game I've ever played.
I only have like 260 games I've ever played, so that'll be easy.
1,860 something, I think.
Oh, you didn't 10x me.
I didn't 10x you.
All right,
and to
that makes
be
me
fair,
feel a little better.
And to be fair, about 800 of those are like backlog games that I've never even touched.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that doesn't count. So you're like 1,000.
Yeah. Let me.
You 5x'd me.
I'll get you my exact.
4x'd me. I'm at 260.
All right. Well, hold on. I'll give you an exact number.
4x is still embarrassing, but not as embarrassing as I thought.
How do I do this? I just look at shelves.
Yeah. All games should tell you the number.
There we go. I played. So I played 1,024 games.
Yeah. You 4x'd me.
Yeah.
That seems about right. You're what?
I'm not 4 times your age, man.
No, but it's exponential.
How?
Because from 0 to whatever, I couldn't play games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a...
Neither could I.
Nah.
It would only be exponential if video games didn't exist when I was...
But that would help. That would help me,
age.
not you.
No, right. But I'm just saying, like, it would... I guess that's fair. Yeah, I don't
that
know.
would be the opposite of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I'm not a true gamer.
Okay. Well, as long as...
I'm a fake gamer. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I only play good games, and then I finish them when I start them.
Do you...
you finished all those 1,000 games?
The majority of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Well, I shouldn't say the 1,000 games. The vast majority of my top 100 I finished. But the thing,
what, dude? You have to finish the game if
here's the
it's
thing,
in your
though.
top. That's crazy.
The way I view that is there are games where either you can't finish it or I just never got to beat it, but I put 100 some hours into it.
All right, let's hear. Like, okay, you can't beat like Sea of Thieves, sure.
Right. Well, like Sea of Thieves,
But like a game you can beat.
Dead Cells is one. Hades, like I've beaten it, but
How
I
is
beat
Baldur's
it the
Gate in your
6
top
times
100?
Because I think it's a masterfully done game, and I put 60 hours into it.
You haven't even gotten out of Act 1.
I think that Act 1, like everything that I played, if you ended Act 1 there, it'd be like great. Like you could say it's a video game in itself.
I don't know. I don't know how the audience feels about that.
I'm not saying it's like in my top 10.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's
your
weighted.
top 100, you're going to put this on this list and you haven't even finished the game? Like,
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
I at what point can you say like, okay, I see this game, I think that it is better than all these other games that I've played. I feel like that's fair.
What if it sucks at Act 3?
I hear that it wasn't great at Act 3, but what I've played of it, it's...
What if that would knock you out of the top 100?
But that's what I'm saying is Baldur's Gate 3 is so good.
That's like saying I played the intro to something and it was awesome and it's in my top 10 and I didn't play anything else.
Well, yeah.
Like, what's the cutoff? What's the cutoff?
What do you mean?
How much of a game do you have to play before it counts?
I don't know, man. 50 hours seems like a pretty good chunk of game.
Well, then what's the cutoff? Can I play 40 hours?
Sure.
30?
I would say 24 hours.
24 hours?
If you put at least
if I put 24 hours.
If you
so
want
if it's anything less than 24 hours in the game, you can't be in my top 100.
No, because some games you can beat in 2 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
My thing would be if you want to...
What's the percentage of the game you have to complete? What if we put it that way?
I would say,
10% of the game? 30% of the game?
33.
33.3 repeating force?
Yeah, get a third of the game.
You didn't have a third of the game done.
I'm Act 1 out of 3.
You didn't finish Act 1.
You gotta say that. I finished it.
What happens at the end of Act 1?
Where
do you go?
Killed something.
What'd you kill?
What I kill?
Yeah.
Like a orc baby.
Yikes.
That's not it. What's the Geth? No, that's not. That's a different game. Geth Yankee? Stole a Geth Yankee egg?
You're not at the end of Act 1.
All right, well, look. Fine, I'll take Baldur's Gate out of my
You're
top 100.
at the beginning
Baldur's
of the
Gate
end
sucks.
of Act 1.
Doesn't deserve to be in the top 100.
Good.
All
Yes. That's how you really feel.
That's really, I mean, honestly, like out of the 100
I'm just saying
games,
there should be criteria.
What I'm saying is out of the 100 games, I think that's the only one I didn't finish.
Sure. All right. I'll take one outlier.
I'm just going to click on it real quick. I'm not going to list out 100 games for you, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, like looking at these, like the thing that I do though is I gravitate towards games that are open-ended.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
like a lot of the games that are on here are finished, but like Dyson Sphere program, you can make a Dyson Sphere, which I went back and did, but it's also early access, so they added a whole bunch of stuff. So like, at what point is it?
Oh,
like,
you have early access games on there? Ugh.
Couple.
Gross.
They're that good, dude.
So gross.
They're that good.
It's gross. I'm wiping off this snot.
Man,
from that comment.
I don't appreciate you just doing my.
You make me feel
No,
like
it's
I'm
like
taking
that.
crazy pills. Like we're saying this is my definitive top 100 games of all time.
Yeah.
And you're having games you don't finish. You're having early access games. They're not even fucking out yet.
Actually, Dyson Sphere might be out officially now, but what I'm saying is the time that
Have you played it since it's been out?
No, well, that's what I mean. I don't know what build I played. But like Satisfactory, I put 80 hours
Okay,
in.
I'm-
Actually, more
I'm
than
just
that,
saying,
like 100
I'm-
plus hours in.
Just giving you a little devil's advocate juice.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you put that much of your life into a game
Yeah.
and you say I had an amazing experience with it,
Yeah.
A, who cares if you finished it? And B, who cares if it's
Okay,
early
it's
access?
your list. It's your list.
If it's a video game that you can purchase,
Yes.
I think that counts. Period.
Period.
It doesn't matter if you played a build. That's no different than saying, hey, I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and then they
Yeah.
come out with tweaks and things. Or, hey, I played Tekken 8 when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then 10 years go by, and now the Tekken 8 that you're playing now is vastly different. Just because, like, I would say that the Tekken 8 they launched with was effectively early access
but-
until this patch.
No. What? No.
I'm just saying.
It's a release game. I don't know if I
Absolutely,
agree with
but
that
what I'm saying is
line of thinking.
if they released it day and date, not
Yeah.
to get on a Tekken kick, but everyone was saying this is just the arcade version. They're going to make it better. They're going to make it better. They come out with all these different patches and tweaks and
Yeah.
different things like that.
Yeah.
And now everyone's saying, oh, it's so much better.
I think we're splitting hairs a little bit here, but
But that's my point. We're splitting hairs. Is if you're playing a game and it's just like this well-made thing that you feel that you went through and completed and effectively finished to your liking,
yeah.
then who cares if it's the
Okay,
best
sure.
thing you've played?
Sure, dude. I mean,
That's a testament to Baldur's Gate 3 that I played a third of it, or a little less than a third because I never got through Act 1 apparently.
dude, you were at the egg. You didn't even get to the fucking temple.
Whatever, man. 64 hours or something on here? 64 hours playing Baldur's Gate 3. I think that immediately is better than, 1,024 games I played, and this is in the top 10% of them.
Okay,
That's easy to
impressive.
say.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Congratulations.
Look, I would love for people to come and give their 2 cents, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, like, early access to me, that game's not out.
Sure.
So it's just weird to me. It's like, oh, this is one of my favorite games ever, but it's not technically released.
Diablo 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and where it is now is vastly different than when it released.
I'm not saying it doesn't change over time. I'm just saying there's a definitive point in time where it's like, we have released this game,
Sure.
and you're talking about before that point in time.
No. See, I disagree with that. They released
Is that
the
not
game.
what early
No.
access is?
It's early access. They released.
So
the
early access doesn't have any meaning anymore then.
Yes, that's what I think.
Then that's stupid. Then it shouldn't be called early access.
That's completely
The
fine.
definition of early access is this is before the game is out.
It's before 1.0.
That's the game.
You can purchase the game and you can play the game at varying degrees of completion.
But it's pre-1, but like anything after the launch of the game, yeah, sure. Like the games change, especially
Dude,
these days.
Satisfactory came out in early access in 2019. I think the 1.0 is releasing, I want to say, in like September or October of this year. Right?
Okay.
2019. That is years and years and years. It's what, 5 years of
Years
just
and years and
updates
years and years
and years. Yeah. Of updates.
Yeah.
That has more content and more things to do and more, like I have,
And it's still
100
early
plus
access.
hours. It's
is what
still
you're saying.
technically early
Okay.
access.
I guess what my argument is, I'm mad at the community, not the community, but
if you want to talk like a Baldur's
it
Gate,
shouldn't be
or
early access.
But if you want to talk a Baldur's Gate or something like that, I can kind of get behind it where it's like, hey, we're just showing you bits and pieces. We don't have like the final thing.
that to me is
However-
what early access should be.
Sure, but look at Hades. Look at where people are saying Hades is a complete enough game that they're shocked at.
But
Okay,
we're not
hey,
reviewing it as the couch company.
We're not until it's 1.0.
Why?
That's fine.
Why?
Why what?
Why aren't we reviewing it right now?
For Game of the Year.
You're saying it's a game. It should count. It should be the same as everything else.
I think it
no,
should
Tyler?
count, but we as a collective, because clearly we're on opposite sides of this.
Yes, but
So,
you didn't.
as
You
a
said, "Oh, that's
compromise-
fine."
Yeah, well, look, we're compromising, and I say, you know what? That's fine. Let's have a clear
So
distinction.
you would like to review it for Game of the Year
for
then.
Game of the Year.
Yeah. See, I didn't get that sense from your
I
side of it.
I think you made a good argument where if you want to say what a Game of the Year is, it's okay, a 1.0 release in the year that you get the 1.0 release. That has no bearing on my top 100 games. It's still a game. It's still something that you played.
I guess. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe
it's just different. It's different ideas.
It's like I can say it doesn't count for Game of the Year, this award, but it does count for this award, top 100 games of all time. You see where that doesn't connect for me?
Yeah, but are you calling it an award? You're saying that if you're in Tyler's top 100 games,
it's an award.
That's an award.
If I was in Tyler's top 100 people, that'd be an
you're
award
in my top
I'd wear.
100 people, obviously.
And I wear that proudly.
Okay.
I'm very happy about that. There should be a little ribbon for that.
I would say, so how old are you?
27.
27,
yes.
Right? Out of 100, you're in early access.
What?
You know what I mean?
No.
We don't know who you're going to be
What
yet.
are you talking about? Early access is when you're in the tummy.
Well, okay.
That's early access.
I guess.
Because you're not formed yet.
Yeah, but
when you get when that baby comes out,
but buddy, 20
that is 1.0.
Where I was at
every
27,
update from there out, that's real.
Where I was at 27 for where I am now at 35, I am a very different person.
Of course.
So you could be a very different person.
Change.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not arguing the fact that games change over time.
This is a ridiculous argument, by the way, but continue.
I'm arguing that 1.0 is when I consider that game to be actually out.
And that's completely fine. But what I'm saying is there are games that I've played where, I mean, Diablo is a great example, where it took me like 3-4 times to play it before it like hooked me, and I was like, oh, this is actually awesome.
Yeah.
And it's improved over and over and over again.
Sure.
Look at even Diablo 4, where we played it, and I was pretty cold on it, and now all the quality of life things that they're doing, I think it's better. So it's like, I don't know. How is that any different? Just because someone comes out with something that's like, quote unquote, early access, but the early access is so good that I consider it a complete and awesome experience, regardless if they're going to add, if they add more stuff, great. Like, you know how I am with DLC, and that could be our segue, but like that, I think still deserves to be on a spot.
Yes. I will tell you this. None of my games on my top 100 list will be early access games.
That's completely fine.
So,
but I'm more in the whatchamacallit, like the indie roguelite type of thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get our list completely. Like I said, I spent, it was like you were saying, like how you spent a week. Like it took me a week to go through like
I spent a week
page
as well.
by page by page. I think
there are great Wikipedia articles that have all the games. That's what I used.
I didn't do that. I went on Groovy and I hit all games. And I picked the system and I just went so like Xbox had like 70 pages and PlayStation had like 70 pages. And this is 70 pages times, I think I put it at like, because if you put it 200 per search, it really bogged down. I was feeling maybe like between 75 and 100 results per page. So
see, I did Wikipedia because it's just a list of names.
Yeah, but sometimes the names though, like I found myself, my eyes were catching the album art quicker, where I was like, oh, I recognize that, see what it is. Oh, I remember that game, and then I
granted, you have 4 times the amount you got to go through. So
it's
for me, I can remember all 260.
Yeah,
4.
Well, dude, there were times when I would just like, it would come back to me where I'm like, oh, Mod Nation Racers, yeah, I remember that. Like that's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah.
The modern stuff was fairly easy.
That's what I was saying. You get to a certain generation, and it's like cooking, because like you can go back and look at your Xbox Live or whatever.
Yeah,
you can. So when I reached 360 onwards, it was very easy.
Yep.
Yeah, like PC is super easy. Although like early PC stuff, maybe not. Well, I mean, actually, probably.
I showed you. I went all the way back to DOS stuff.
Yeah. My early PC is like Backyard Baseball, which, that's on the list.
I can imagine.
God, I love that game.
The only old game that I have on the list, well, aside from like, Super Mario World or something like that, but like the only old game is Ice Hockey.
Ice Hockey?
Yeah, for Nintendo. I put that on. Yeah.
So everything's modern?
Well, no, I mean, I have some Super Nintendo, like Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, different things like that. Some PlayStation stuff. But like the oldest game on there is Ice Hockey.
And what year is that?
I'd have to look it up. Like in the, I think 80s. I want to say.
Wow.
88 maybe.
Ice Hockey.
Let me see. I'll do a quick search. Ice hockey. It's good. Searching ice hockey. 81. Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
No. I'm sorry. The ice hockey that I'm talking about is 88. Yeah, 1988.
88.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oldest game I played was probably like the backyard games, which is like 97.
Yeah.
So
9-year difference. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. So what were you talking about, DLC?
Yeah, so I know you were saying like we were talking about DLC and how like okay, like I played all of Borderlands, but I didn't play, I don't know, insert other game here. So like I haven't played the Alan Wake stuff.
Yeah, like recently it seems like you are very out on DLC. Like you didn't play the Dave the Diver stuff, even though you really liked that game. You didn't play Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how much you like that game, but
you
didn't play Horizon. You love Horizon.
Cyberpunk's in my top 100. Yeah. So here's the thing.
So yeah,
it's a very clear distinction. Is if I'm still playing the game and they come out with something, I'm playing the DLC. But if I put a lot of time in to the game and I 100% it or beat it or whatever, and then they come out with stuff and I've kind of already moved on from the game, like very rarely would I go back. So in the case of something like Borderlands, that was something that we played. I don't want to say as religiously as like a Call of Duty, but it was pretty big for a pretty long time, right? So Borderlands would be this thing where we would play it and we would maybe go away from it just for a little bit, but we'd just start playing it again. And then all of a sudden DLC would come out for it and we'd play the DLC and whatnot. So like Borderlands, I think, is one of the few games I do the DLC on. Obviously Call of Duty's, but I don't think that counts. That's just like extra maps.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I'm talking like story stuff.
Yeah, I can't think of a DLC that I've played that wasn't just, oh, I got the like Game of the Year edition and then played it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so like if I miss a game, so for instance, like Grand Theft Auto 4, I played it when it first came out, bounced off of it, and then whenever I got bought my copy and I didn't like borrow it from GameStop or something, it was like the Liberty City Stories collection, whatever, and I'd play that.
Gotcha. So you're not opposed to it, but it has to be really special.
Yeah, it has to be timely. Oh,
I thought Dave the Diver would, because they did a Dredge Dave the Diver crossover, and you were raving about those two games.
I think that if I booted it up, like if you like sat me down in a chair and were like, "Hey, play this," and I just got a controller and I started playing it a little bit, I'm sure I'd get sucked into it. But my thing is like the moment I uninstall it from my computer, very rarely would I like reinstall something to go back and try something out, right? Like I have the Alan Wake stuff on there, but even that is like, it's not really what I was looking for in terms of like the Alan Wake stuff, at least to my knowledge. It might be.
Yeah.
The way they portrayed it in the stuff, it didn't seem.
Got like on OpenCritic, it has like an 83, which is the highest purple.
Yeah.
So clearly a little bit down. And they are, they're not afraid to give DLCs very high ratings. Like last year, Cyberpunk was 89. It was a mighty guy.
It was pretty high. Yeah.
So like, well, it was great too. Like that was favorite DLC, like top 5 DLC. That'd be a good list.
Yeah. Uncle's calling me.
Uncle.
Yeah.
Top 5. He wants to share his top 5 DLC.
I guess. Yeah.
That might be on my list for top DLC. It was really well done.
The Cyberpunk was
yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
So
I believe you. Like I re-downloaded it and it was like, oh, you should start over, and it's like the 2.0 and stuff. And I'm like, I just don't know if I have that in me.
Yeah. I did. I started over. Like I actually really liked my experience because the 2.0 update was so awesome. Like they overhauled so many things that, because I did boot up my character that I beat the game with first, and I was like, uh-oh.
Sure.
I don't recognize any of this. And then I was just like, all right, new game. And that was like my definitive playthrough, I think, because I had some lessons learned from the first one, and then the background I picked I actually liked better. So, yeah, that's a great DLC. I'm really trying to rack my brain of like a single player game that would be like, hey, we did so much to it that you should go back through and redo stuff. Did you ever? I'm not saying that this is one of the games, but did you ever play the Mass Effect DLCs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I played like 2 had a lot,
but that
of DLC.
but I didn't do it when they were coming out. The only thing I played is when we went back and did the legendary.
Yes.
And I went through and did all the first game.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And I bounced off the second one. I was like, I need a like quote unquote good playthrough.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's when
You finished all of them?
Yeah, I think I finished all of 2 for sure. And I want to say I think I finished 3.
Dang, dude. I didn't realize that.
But 3, I did the DLCs originally. So 3 was the only one I actually played the DLC for. And that was mainly
like when
because
it came out.
Yeah, like as the DLCs popped up.
Oh, because we were searching for meaning in the universe. Yeah. Which, now, here's my conspiracy tinfoil hat. They make the ending purposely bad or divisive.
Yeah.
So that everyone purchases the DLC looking for answers.
Yeah,
How funny is that?
That's
what a strategy that would be.
Salt the earth just to get some DLC sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, they're like, think about it. They're done.
Yeah.
EA already came in and ruined it.
Yeah.
They're like, how can we extract the last essence of bone marrow from these people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the word? Enshittification? That's in the same vein of
All
that.
right. So that's our next topic.
Well, no, just generally speaking, it's this like you put out a product that's so good
Yeah.
that everyone like you get a mass install base, everyone loves it, they talk like it's great.
Yes.
And then eventually you just devolve it into this like money grabbing just
Like Marvel.
BS. Like Marvel so the people that were saying this stuff is like Google, Netflix, Spotify, like all this stuff where it's just like the newest one is I think it was Grand Theft Auto was the article where Grand Theft Auto Online, there was some quality of life thing that it's like, oh, you can do all this stuff just from your in-game phone. And then it's like, but you need a Rockstar Plus like $7 a month thing.
Yep.
And it's locked behind that paywall.
Yep.
And people are like, what are you doing? Like what, like you have this massive install base from, I don't know, when did Grand Theft Auto 5 come out? Like
2015.
Yeah. Okay. 10 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever. And it's just like, you have this, it's longer than it has any right to be. And you're still going to do these scummy practices. And you can't even get that on PC. It's only on console.
Really?
So it's like,
wow.
Yeah. So it's just these weird,
scummy.
Yeah. These weird practices. And I think that EA, especially in the Mass Effect 3 era.
2013, sorry.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, still. In the Mass Effect 3 era is when they were like, oh, we don't like GameStop. So we're going to, if you buy a used game, the only way to play the multiplayer, the only way to play a certain thing is you have to pay us $10 to get a key that will let you.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And that didn't last too long because eventually like people, voted with their wallets and they pushed back. But
imagine that.
But it's not. Out of all the companies, right? Like EA is not, well, all the publishers and things like that.
Yeah.
EA is not on my like, oh, they'll do the right thing. Like
they're on the opposite
they're
list.
pretty.
Yeah.
They might be. I mean, they were voted the worst company. How many times? Like
they have the record. I think.
So it's just like okay, like I don't know, but that's the shit.
I wouldn't put it past them.
They put it as like the word of the year or something. Enshittification. That was the
enshittification.
Yeah.
So it's an actual word.
It doesn't show. So I checked it. I was like, let me see if the spell check.
Might get
it
there.
Doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't do it. The spell check for Apple at least doesn't say that it's a real
well,
word.
that doesn't mean it's not a word. It might be an Oxford.
Yeah. Speaking of spell check, because see, dude, these threads are tight. You can now type in duck and it will autocorrect to the F word.
Okay.
So it's like the opposite.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a big problem.
They said they were going to do that in 2023. And it finally just hit it because I texted one of my coworkers and I was like, hey, it's a graveyard today because like nobody was working. I'm just like, feel free to duck out at noon or whatever.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, feel free to fuck out at noon.
Oh,
I'm like,
my gosh.
That's the wrong...
I always just committed.
It was just like, yeah.
I always just commit to it.
Yeah.
And I used to just say, what the duck? And then just send a duck emoji.
Right. Well, now it will do it the opposite way. So if you want to talk about a duck, you might be sending some rough messages.
I know. So I got to be careful when duck talk.
They should just back off of it completely. Just be like, hey, maybe don't
don't
autocorrect
correct it.
those two words. Just you don't have to solve it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, good point. Like if you input it correctly, don't switch it.
Yeah.
Because it used to switch from the F word to duck, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think it's funny though. Like I'm sure they have a bunch of data somewhere stored where it's like what people are talking about, and ducks are like right at the top of the list,
number
and
one
they're
most
just
thing.
falling, dude. It's like Black Friday, not Black Friday.
You have all of these.
When did the stock market crash? What is that called?
Oh,
Black Tuesday?
something Tuesday. Yeah.
It's like the equivalent for ducks. Like I just imagine a bunch of
dumb.
ducks running around Wall Street. Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
how my mind works.
It's hard for me to believe that with all the AI advancements and things that we're doing, that if you have what and the and duck, what the duck is not like. I think actually that might be a game, but beyond that, it's like
it's probably a play on what we're talking about.
Exactly,
right?
but that's the thing is like you would think that like okay, if you type in what the duck is not a very very low percentage of times that's going to be the next one.
Yeah, but a percentage.
Sure.
In human history,
sure.
What the duck was said in the context of an actual duck.
I mean, there's
not like a double entendre.
There's a universe where duck is the
curse
word. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess. So in the same vein of, I think I saw that article on GTA 5. So the other article, which I sent to you, I was scrolling X, and it was something about there's going to be a crossover of
Dead
Space and Battlefield.
Yeah.
Okay. So this made me incredibly angry where it's like, yeah, they like the disease has already infected Call of Duty, right? Like Nicki Minaj is in Call of Duty.
Real quick, like I wish this was a video podcast because you were sitting back in the chair and kind of talking like all chill.
Yeah.
Now you're up and you're like
it makes me so
over.
mad.
Yeah, no, I know. Continue, but I wish people could see how fired up you are.
No, they can hear it in my voice until you interrupted me.
Sorry,
now I lost steam.
Continue.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that Battlefield. Okay, good.
So, like we knew that Call of Duty was infected with this virus, right? Mm-hmm. Which I theorize it all started with Fortnite. I don't know. I think you might agree with me on this, but we'll hear from you in a second.
Okay.
So I'm reading this article that Battlefield is crossing over with Dead Space, and there's going to be like whatever they're called. What are they called? The zombies? Necromorphs in Battlefield and shit now. And you're like going to be... I'm just like, dude, like what is nothing sacred anymore? Like Battlefield used to be just like the best war game. And now it's just all this bullshit, and everything has to be a crossover, and everything has to be like what's popular. And it's like, if we just mash the most popular things together, everyone's going to like it. It just seems like that's the mindset. Even like fuck making sense, fuck anything. It's just, let's put everything together that's good, quote unquote. It's like, it's just so dumb. It's just so dumb to me.
To make it worse, in some ways, and I get there's costs with servers and things like that, but they're taking Battlefield 3, 4, and Hardline offline for PS3 and 360. They're old systems. I get that servers are going down.
Yeah,
but that kind of gives you an idea of the. I don't want to say necessarily tone deaf, but because I'm sure there's a whiteboard somewhere saying like, okay, well, like nobody's playing these games. We're shutting this server down, saving X amount of money, but they're going to shut down these games, which, with the exception of Hardline, because I don't think anyone liked Hardline, but like you're shutting down the servers of Battlefield 3 and 4, games that people loved.
Yep.
Not to put necromorphs in, but like, and now you're touting, oh look, necromorph crossover, whatever. And the funny thing is, like when they announced this, everyone was excited because they thought that it was saying, hey, now we did the remake for Dead Space. Now we're going to do the remake for Dead Space 2. That even might be the case where they just want to get in the zeitgeist and you know, whatever. But like, why? Like we pushed back, like we, the collective gamer people or whatever, pushed back against a Santa Claus skin, right? Like they tried putting a Santa Claus in Battlefield out.
Right.
They got all this backlash.
Yes.
And what, you think that you just wait a couple years and then, hey, now there's necromorphs. That's cool, right? Like, yeah, I think in some form or fashion that would be cool if it was like its own zombie mode or something.
Yeah,
that, like Call of Duty
They did
but,
the zombie Bad Company or something, right? You remember that?
in Bad Company.
I thought there was a zombie Bad Company or something.
There was a zombie like Red Dead and things like that.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I thought. Let me look it up because I might be just Berenstein's bearing this, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that like when you're already kind of on thin ice with the collective Battlefield enthusiasts of what they want out of a game, it seems weird that you're willing to go down this path and try this stuff. Again, I get why they're doing it. Fortnite does it. Call of Duty does it. Sure, put your Battlefield in there. But it's this constant like, okay, well, these guys are doing it, so we have to chase this. And you're never... like, they're never ahead of the curve, and I think this is Battlefield's biggest problem.
Yeah.
Is they're always just chasing the popularity of other things that doesn't fall within their guidelines. Like, they were good enough from a, okay, hey, now all these buildings are, like, destructible, and they got lauded for that, and it was this greatest thing ever, and things like that. And then it's like, okay, but now we're just going to pull it away because we have to keep these buildings upright because they're the level design or whatever, like however it is.
Well, it might be a technical issue.
Sure, but if
like you know, it's hard to determine like.
But but what I'm saying is put your resources on those limitations, and maybe they did, and maybe it doesn't matter.
Like make the buildings look less good. And keep the mechanic that everyone thought was the most fun.
Battlefield, it was destructible environments and sound design. Those were the things that like.
Oh, dude, how good!
Yeah, but like that was
those old
it.
games.
Yeah,
just holds up perfectly.
Like do that. Make the next generation of that.
Yeah,
Don't do this necromorph.
They're going off of like, okay, so first of all, no such thing as Bad Company Zombies. Totally made that up.
Yep.
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm probably thinking like Red Dead, and like there was this phase where like every game was doing zombies.
Red Dead was a big one because they actually released it standalone. Like that was a
which I think
like
people like that one.
Undead Nightmare, yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, Battlefield was always like the, I don't want to say most realistic because like we live in today's time. I think there's a lot of like sim military shooters now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you can't even say that.
You can't say
anymore.
It kind of was though back in the day, right? Especially, I would describe it as the mainline, quote unquote, realistic because it has aspects of it that are much more realistic than Call of Duty.
You had Arma back in the day, so I don't want to like
that's fair.
discount those people, but
it's
like
not.
It was a thinking man's Call of Duty. Is really what that.
I wouldn't even describe it as that. I think Call of Duty is more of like a sport. And Battlefield was more like a war.
It was a strategy game. Is what it was. It was a strategy game, a teamwork game. It was something that
it felt more like combat and war than Call of Duty did.
As much as you can in
as
a
much
video
as you
game,
can.
Sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it's like war. I'm just saying it's more. It has those elements of it.
Yeah.
Where there's vehicles, there's the strategy like you're talking about. You're taking an objective.
You have to look at the macro versus the is there someone around the corner? Let me slide and hit them.
Yeah, but even like older Call of Duty, it's like, I don't know. So anyways, like my point is like that was your identity, and I think that's what you're talking about. It's like you're just getting away from what made you successful, and you're trying to chase other people who like are going to do it better. But that's even Call of Duty's doing that. They're getting away from what they did the best, and they're looking at Fortnite. And I think personally, Fortnite is to blame for all this shit because unless I'm like not thinking of something that did this before even Fortnite, but like Fortnite's the one that has like Eminem in it and like all these things and every character that's ever been, but they do it well, and that's their identity. Like they set the groundwork for like, okay, this is what you can expect from us. So that's why I don't think people are offended when they're like, oh, Master Chief's in Fortnite. Or Goku or whatever.
Dude,
it's like
Master Chief and freaking Kratos and Han Solo running around shooting things. Like that's cool.
But that was baked into what they did.
Yeah.
Like they set that expectation. But it's Battlefield. It's like, okay, here's our history of Battlefield, the lineage, and here's what you've come to know and love us for, and now we're gonna put Santa Claus in.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's ridiculous.
It's not one Santa Claus. It's anyone that wants to pay for the skin could be Santa. There's like 50,000 Santa Clauses running around.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you could have the same argument with Call of Duty, where like
100%.
as soon as 4 came out, they changed the multiplayer game and the progression game and everything else forever. You know, so like, and it's only gotten worse and worse and worse, and people are just less and less satisfied with anything. So I think the thing with Battlefield is absolutely that, where it's like there was a point where you could just play a game and you just felt good, like playing the game and winning the game and doing the co-op stuff.
Yeah.
I think the thing that the battle, and honestly, this is all the way back in like probably even Battlefield 3, definitely 4, where when they started releasing like, here's the amount of players playing on certain maps or certain levels that like people voted on or however they did it. And it's like, okay, yeah, you saw a trend in smaller maps and things like that, but the thing that I don't think they were thinking of is like, or I'm sure they were thinking of it, but like the skewed data there is people weren't playing those necessarily because they liked the maps. I was playing in the subway constantly, not because I liked the map. I don't like, in Shipment's a perfect example in the Call of Duty world, where it's like, I'm not playing Shipment because I like Shipment. Shipment sucks, but boy, am I getting experience for it. Boy, am I unlocking things super fast with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, just make it more rewarding. Just give everyone everything. Very much like Battlefront that EA did, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, I don't know, here's everything. It's all unlocked. Go nuts. And even then, you still have to unlock stuff. But it's like, just give them all the tools, give them everything it is, and just, hey, play it however you want to play it. Find all, like, experiment, do whatever. Like, buck against the trend of like, no, I need the constant unlocks, because like it's just this grind that people do, and it's like, okay, I have to keep playing the game to do whatever. Like, if you had a game that was good enough on its own, where if you just gave the player base every attachment, every gun, find what you like, what fits you, experiment, have fun, like that would be a breath of fresh air, crazily enough.
Yeah.
And not just lock everything behind these just arbitrary grinds just to force people to play your game. If it's good enough, people will play it. That's the crazy thing. It's like, look at what was the Halo Splitgate, right? Like,
yeah,
people play. Now people were just jonesing for Halo too, but like people were playing that. Like, you didn't really unlock anything. Like,
No.
It's all cosmetic, but people played the heck out of it because it was fun. Look at Rocket League. Like, it's all the same thing. Like you're unlocking things as you're just kind of arbitrarily going up, but like it was just, the game was so good that you would just continuously play it. I think if Battlefield went smaller from a like the player standpoint, just, hey, you're just one soldier in a giant war. You don't have to be this hero with a grappling hook or a crazy, Overwatch-esque ability. All you need is like, here's your soldier. Are you carrying a med pack, extra ammo? Are you carrying a C4 charge? Or are you just, I don't know, whatever I guess a sniper. Like, are you spotting people? And like, play around that. Like, just go back to your roots.
Yeah.
That's what people are begging you for. And
that's what was so fun about it too, because it's like, how can I impact the game with the limited resources that I have?
Boy, did it feel like it.
And it's like a natural progression. Like, someone has to be on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating. Like, that's what was really fun about the games. Like, all these small things add up. And that's like the ultimate team-based game, right? Like, you're just one little piece of the puzzle, but you're so necessary in order to win the game.
If you take away all of the me, and this is the thing that Call of Duty just can't do, because Call of Duty, it's always, what's your Katie?
Yeah.
Right. With Battlefield, and honestly, Sea of Thieves is very much like this as well. It's a unit. Like, it's whatever one person does. Like, oh, I sell this gold chest, cool. Everyone gets it. Oh, we do this, cool. Everyone gets it. Everyone gets the XP for this, and the achievement pops for everybody. Battlefield did a very good job with that, where it's just like, look, as long as you guys are together, you guys are just getting a ton of, and yeah, sure, like there are people that move up the leaderboard because they get more kills, whatever, like things like that. But score based, you can still feel like you're doing really, really well.
I would love to see like a Gears 3. What I loved about Gears 3 is they had these like banners and stuff for like different things that you did, like, and then like different levels of that, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, like, bronze, silver, gold. And it's like, You can display these banners like, oh, dude, this guy,
I think
like,
Battlefield like 3 had that.
sure,
Or
but
Bad
it's
Company
like,
had
yeah,
that.
I'm a super awesome medic. I've revived and I have the platinum medic
Yeah.
trophy.
I had the little
And it shows
the
you in the
engineer tool where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you repaired 20 quintillion armor points or
yeah,
whatever.
right.
And it just like
shows
oh,
you in the lobby
we
before,
want
and
you.
then so it's like two things where it's like, oh wow, he's a really good engineer.
Yeah.
We can use him for that. And it's like, that's your individualism that people are looking for. Like, hey, look what I've done.
Yeah.
But it's also two-pronged where it's like, yes, you have that individual achievement, but the individual achievement is helping the team,
Yep.
right? I think you're 100% right on that. Like, it's team first. It used to be. And then the identity is trying to shift and match this, which is kind of like mirroring society where it's like all about me. Like, what have I done? Social media bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, look, if you have some cool, fun, like, everyone knows I like grappling hooks. I think they're super fun to use and,
Yes.
and whatnot. But then give everyone a grappling hook and just be like, look, this is super cool and fun. Everyone's picking this class anyway. Like, don't gate this stuff around it. Just be like, look, everyone has a grappling hook. It's kind of it's 2042. It's a little bit more modern. Everyone has a gun and a grappling hook and whatever. And it's just like, cool. It's just a new dynamic. It's a little bit more vertical. Awesome.
But give it
More
to
power
everyone.
to you. Give it to everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Right.
rocket science. And the thing that bummed me out is I thought they fixed it, and I was telling you that they fixed it, and then
No.
when I looked at it, I was like, oh no, they
They made it worse.
yeah.
You told me I could play any Battlefield I wanted.
Which
you
you
can't
could at
even
some
do that
point.
anymore.
Now I can't.
Now
they
you
changed
cannot.
that. Yeah.
Now it's like rotating modes. So depending on
Yeah.
however they do it, what week it is or what day of the week it is, you can play Battlefield 3, but then it's gone because like Nate installed it.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even play the old Battlefields. They didn't even have it on there. So he had to play the mode where they rotate through them.
Yeah,
And you can play the new one or the.
weird.
It's like, dude, literally, I thought your whole point was pick what era you want to play.
Yeah.
That's what you literally sold us on.
I mean,
now
we
you can't even
had-
do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah,
Maybe they have to just to keep the player counts going and whatnot. But
I think they're trying to force people to play like, hey guys, look at the updates we made to the new one. It's like, well, hey, you lost the trust of the player base when it was shit on release. Like, yeah, welcome to the world where you get punished for coming out with a poor product.
and maybe they have some sort of Dead Space weaponry that they're bringing in or something. But half the fun of shooting necromorphs was slicing their limbs off. So like what? They're just gonna be bullet
like,
sponges that you just shoot into and
I
hope for the
don't.
best?
I don't understand any. How does that
Everyone,
go together
everyone
at
has
all?
to be Marvel, man. Just put them all in the same
That's what
universe.
I'm saying, dude. Like, it's not natural. It's not.
As I was going through my top 100 games, the thing that kept popping up was like, why are they not making a Titanfall 3? Like that. If you don't want your Battlefield franchise because you just drove it into the ground and you don't know what to do to revive it, the one thing that would put you on the map against Call of Duty, which is like, it's fine. I think 3 hurt them a little bit, right? Like maybe Black Ops 6 now or something will revive Call of Duty. Who knows?
Sure.
But like you have that and you have Fortnite, and even Fortnite, like the kids that made Fortnite popular are moving on to the bigger, like more adult games, right? Like, yeah, they're still playing Fortnite, but now they're diving into like your Call of Duties and well, not Battlefield, but like your other, battle royales and things like that. So like they're moving on. So like even Fortnite is completely fine, but like Titanfall would shake things. I can't think of another game that would shake up the landscape like that. Like Halo fizzled, all these other games that are trying to do stuff. Like, what's the new one that just came out that's a looter shooter that I can't even think of the name because they're having their microtransactions are working completely fine, but their servers are effed, like age old thing like that.
Yeah.
Just put a Titanfall out, make it tight. Like, even if you remade Titanfall 1 and 2, right? And just like, here's all the maps. We put it in the updated. You don't have to do an engine. I think it's like what was it, like Steam's engine, Source 2 or whatever it was, Source 3 or something. Like it doesn't even have to look like incredible because I think those games looked fine, but they just felt good. That's all you need, and just make a fun thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
There's got to be a reason they're doing that.
Yeah, sure.
Like the numbers don't add up.
Well, the people that
If it would print money, they would have done it already, dude.
well, the people that were doing that, they're doing the Jedi games.
I see.
So that's,
they don't have the right people. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's fair. Like, that was definitely a unique spin on the FPS genre.
Yeah. It just it felt good. That's all.
Yeah.
Imagine where Call of Duty would be if they never left, like Infinity Ward. Like, imagine the landscape of how all that stuff would
I think that's part of, like, great artists move on. Like, they have a vision. Oh, okay. Well,
that's a whole I don't
remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big deal. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I think like, well, my statement, I still stand by my statement where I think, like, great artists have a vision for something, it's complete, and then, like, artists don't milk things like corporations do, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, when you think something's complete or it can't be pushed any farther based on your own vision of it, you move on to something else, right?
Yep.
Like,
it's just going to be remake after remake after remake, and it's
that's
just
the
like
world we live in, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what. I think it's a risk thing. It's probably what my mind goes to. Like, it's the lowest amount of risk because it is a proven success in the past. Like, people aren't willing to take risks anymore, or I should say, companies aren't willing to take risks anymore because budgets are so expensive for these games these days that if you flop, that's huge.
Yeah.
Much more impactful than it used to be. So,
but even back with Modern Warfare 2, like the original Modern Warfare 2,
yeah,
they were, I don't want to say afraid, but, like, they still brought back Modern Warfare maps. You know, like, it wasn't like, hey, here's a whole bunch of new stuff. They had those, especially in, like, Black Ops, and they added, like, things. But it was like, the things that got people excited were, oh, hey, Pipeline's coming back. Oh, hey, here's Overgrown. Oh, hey, here's, like, all these maps that people, like, really enjoyed. And so it's always been that way, but it's just like, you don't have to swing for the fence every time, but, like, you're also not giving the nostalgia hit that people are asking for either. Like, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Anyway.
They're just trying to make money, dude.
Yeah, I guess. But, like, in the most just lazy way possible. Like, there are, again, a few exceptions, but when we're talking about Dead Space and Resident Evil as, like, some of the top games of last year, right? Like, that's sad, I think.
Well, last year was a very good year for games, but
sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, it's a really good year for games, but, like, half those games are remakes or remasters. Or,
yeah, I mean, like, if I pull up OpenCritic right now and I look at the top games, how many of these are going to be DLC or remake, right? Like, what's your vote on the top, let's say, like, the top 10 rated games this year?
For Open?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, so, like, would you don't consider Rebirth a remake?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean,
it's a told story that they
sure.
redid.
Let's put that in the remake. Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many do you think out of the top? I'll just do the first page.
For this year, I honestly don't know. I
okay,
think
so number 1, Elden Ring.
Okay.
DLC.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Yep.
That's a remake. So Belatro's unique.
Yep.
Destiny 2 Final Shape.
Okay.
DLC. I don't even know what this is. Tasukahime, a piece of bluegrass. What the fuck?
Yeah, I
is
saw
this?
that. I thought that was like, John. That's a John game.
It's only 7 reviews.
It's anime.
Okay, so that's like a thing. Hades 2 is early access.
Yep.
Tekken 8.
Yep.
Sequel.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
Yep.
Yakuza sequel. Animal Well unique.
Yep.
But it's an indie game. Braid Anniversary Edition.
It's a remake.
Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is a sequel. I don't think that came out this year, though. I think that just some of these are like re-releases and then they count them again. It's really strange.
Like released in the US?
On a different system or something. Like if it gets released on Switch, it's...
Well, yeah, like the Ghost of Tsushima came out on PC and it's like, oh, it's like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah. And then Thousand X Resist, which is an indie game. Solium Infernum. Time Melters.
So what's your... the sequels, I don't...
Paper Mario.
That's a remake.
It's a remake.
Yeah, or a remaster, I should say, I guess.
Unicorn Overlord. Persona 3 Reload.
Which is...
And then Mini Shoot, which you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Like half of those were remakes, or like 30%, 40%,
yeah, or DLC, yeah.
or DLC. And then if you include sequels, so like I know you don't want to include sequels in that. My point is like there's no original content, and sequels aren't inherently bad.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes to that point as well, where it's like it's not a new idea. You're evolving the story. I think maybe you deserve a little more credit than just a straight remaster or remake of a game, but it's still like we can't think of new characters. We can't think of here's the next whatever.
Yeah, it's like the new character's gonna sell. You know, like it's like Stellar Blade came out, and it's like okay,
oh, it's not a new fighting game. It's gonna be Tekken 8, and I love Tekken 8. I'm glad it exists. But my point is like we're gonna be playing Tekken 28.
Yeah,
and we're not gonna see like at some point someone created Tekken.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
At some point, they just do the Need for Speed thing that they've tried 25 times, or they do the Forza thing, or they do the NBA Jam, or they'll do a reset, or the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
it's like okay, how do we create a new game, get newcomers into this while keeping everything because we need a foundation to stand on? Yeah, exactly. And I liked how Mortal Kombat did it. I just saw the story, so I was like, yeah, I think it was pretty good. But it just, I don't know, like, where's the innovation? I think, like you said, and I think that's why you gravitate towards the indie stuff so much, because that's where it's at.
Yeah.
It's seemingly these days, like, they can take that risk because it's not a giant corporation, it's not a giant budget. It's like individuals, sometimes one person, right?
Yep.
Can do what they want. So I don't know. I don't know. I just miss that old. I just feel like an old person,
buddy. Nothing like doing the exercise of like, hey, here are all these games that I played.
Yeah,
it was crazy to like. Yeah, we played some really cool games last year and the year prior and the year prior. You know, like, but aside from like your Horizon and God of War, which are my kind of main standouts, it's like, dude, I haven't had a game that really made me.
But God of War is even based on a fucking trilogy.
100%. Yeah, even that you can consider
Horizon
is
soft remake brand new,
soft reboot. Or
Ghost of Tsushima new.
Yeah,
right.
Which Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm still fairly early on, but like, man, I don't. That's like people love that game.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
all right.
We'll see.
I'm just saying, like, that's a new property.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing that exercise as well, the PlayStation 2 era. There were so many games.
Yeah.
There were so many games. Now, were they all good? No, of course not. But like, it was just like, that's the environment you want to be in. You want to have too many games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, now it's like.
It's crazy that
those games weren't remakes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All of those games seemingly were new.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, on one hand, yes. On the other hand, like, maybe we're looking at it in the wrong way, and maybe, like, there were the Spyros in PlayStation 2 era where it's like, okay, hey, we're going to redo this, or we're going to try something
new.
Yeah. You know,
Spyro went off the rails.
Yeah, they really did. That was just one that came to mind. But it's like you have your SOCOM 4 and 5 and like all these.
This, like you said, this has always existed, but it's gotten to a boiling point, I think, is my point.
Yeah. I think we're past I would say that's mainly like sequel area type stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, okay, let's just redo it.
Right, yeah, it's a good point. It wasn't like remaking Spyro 1. It was
like when you're going back, and do you remember Yooka-Laylee? Probably not. Like,
no.
So you know Banjo-Kazooie?
Yes.
So they made a spiritual successor called Yooka-Laylee. Same
no
3D
idea.
platformer type thing.
Yeah.
When you're going back and doing that, which I would argue isn't a bad game, but it wasn't like a Banjo-Kazooie, right? Like, it didn't really like take everyone by storm.
Yeah.
When you're going back there and remastering those games, like, that's crazy to me. The people at Ubisoft already said, like, in whatever earnings report, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a ton of remakes or remasters of old Assassin's Creed games and stuff like that. Like that's just not like that takes the wind out of any type of momentum that you have of like, oh, Assassin's Creed Shadow, what was it? It's just Shadows,
I think.
It's like cool, like, and then what? Like here's a remastered, I don't know, Assassin's Creed 3, You know, it's like, is that really the one that you want? Which actually, I lied. They already did that. So I guess it'd be 4 at this point, or or Unity or something. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like that's what you want to, like, I get it. It's tried and true. You put an Assassin's Creed 4 out, people will buy it. But the development, it's two things. Either the development is cheap enough and you think that enough people will buy it that it's worth it to you, or you're going to like completely redo it and then roll the dice. And I think that people just are like, oh yeah, well, up res and here you go. Here's Assassin's Creed 4. Remember how much you liked that? And I think that people go back and they'll be like, oh yeah, we really like this. This feels dated. You know, like, it's like, okay, like, what does modernize the controls mean? Like, you're not putting a new system into it.
Yeah, I'd love to see like the playtime amount for all of these remaster games.
Exactly.
Right?
My
How many people finish these games? It's like, oh, I get really excited. I remember when I was young and happy.
Yep.
I played the first hour. Oh yeah, I've been here. Yeah,
that's
cool.
a cool thing.
That's cool. Yeah,
it's sharper.
Game's gotten better, actually.
Yeah, right.
Like, what do we? You know what I mean,
dude? Tekken 3.
We didn't even finish Mass Effect. I didn't even finish Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I played the first one. I was like, oh man, I remember I love these games, and I was like halfway through 2, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting kind of like, I've been here before. I played this game 10 times.
Dude, Andromeda is a better game. As far as
technically,
technically, like
mechanics
movement,
of it.
everything.
Yeah, right, right.
It's very hard to do that kind of stuff. Even what was I going to say? Crap, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, you were saying Tekken 3 though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so Tekken 3 is, I jumped through all those hoops. I got it emulated. It was like, okay, this is the perfect ROM. This is exactly how it was. Blah 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 blah. All this stuff, and I played like that one match of like, okay, here's Law and Nina. I'm like, yep. Okay, so like Tekken 8's real good. You know, like, it's like even I would assume, even if going back to like Tag Tournament or even Tag 2 or like even Tekken 7 that I downloaded, and I was like, let's try this, and it feels just rough compared to the new stuff. So it's like, just do, like, I don't know.
Tekken, I think, is a good example of how the evolution should be, and that's why I don't think it should be frowned upon that there's 8 in the series, because I think they are enhancing it every time.
Yeah.
You know, to varying degrees of success. And I'm not an expert on the Tekken history, but Tekken 8 is better than Tekken 1, but I think it's keeping its core identity.
Yeah, well, so
right?
For instance, like the Tekken 3 is on my top 100 games.
Yes.
But would I want to play it, or would I recommend it for anyone to play? Probably not.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those, like, how did the game make me feel at a given point?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but that's what the industry should be. It should be standing on the shoulders of the giants that came before us,
not
and continuing to move forward,
not
redoing not remaking the giant that got it. Like, we should be moving forward, not backwards.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't remake something and move it forward, but even like Resident Evil 4, as good as that is,
yeah,
it was a known quantity. Like, yeah, it did some cool things. It was a fun video game.
Yes,
that's fine. I'm glad that, like, whenever my nephew wants to play a horror game, he can play a very good one of those.
Right.
But also, it's not like, he didn't do anything that was like, oh, this is revolutionary, and redid it. Even Dead Space, the best thing they did was like, oh, we changed up some voice lines, and we changed a part that people really didn't like, and we added some light puzzle, like flip a switch here thing. And it's like, all right, like, cool, like, again, it was a solid,
great game.
Remake.
It was a great game.
Yeah,
it remains a great game with some nice elements. But you're exactly right. It's not going to be that next.
Is it going to make
unbelievable?
Me excited for?
It's not going to be the next Elden Ring.
Right. Yeah.
It can't reach that height.
Yeah.
There's a barrier.
Yep.
And there are definitely positives. Like, I like the fact that they're able to remake the Resident Evils and maybe able to get closer to what they intended. Maybe technically they were limited, back in the day.
Sure.
And maybe they're able to, realize that vision a little bit more, or they're able to, like, scrub some things that in hindsight weren't good ideas, which I think they did. So it's like, things work out in that way. You're able to tell the story maybe better. We've learned a lot since then, but you're exactly right. Like, and I enjoyed Resident Evil 4. It was great.
Yeah.
But there's a ceiling.
I think when you're going back and you're remaking like Snake Eater and stuff like that, I think that will be very telling on some things there. Is like, okay, like, do you need Kojima? Do you need the original artists for a lot of these things to like kind of realize those visions and whatnot?
Yeah.
Because like they have the dude for like Final Fantasy, right? Like,
yes.
yeah.
Well,
so
the reason I kind of separate Final Fantasy out is because nobody knows where the story's headed.
Sure.
And then you do have the original people doing it. This is something they've talked about for a long time, where it's like, we want to, if we ever went back and did this is how we would do it.
And the main guy from Tekken, same thing, where it's like, okay, like, cool, like he's been there since the beginning of like, like you could, if they were doing a remake, I would trust him to be like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do for, a remake type of thing. But when you bring in, and I think Microsoft, unfortunately, is kind of the biggest issue here is like, okay, Microsoft is going to remake Halo because they have a new team, and it's like, okay, well, it's just easier to remake something and just get your feet wet here. And then you're going to do E-Day, and it's the same thing. And then you're going to do, whatever, like Perfect Dark, I wouldn't put in the same vein because that's going to be like in that new thing good. But that's what they do is it's like, okay, it's a new team. How do we, get their feet wet and get them thinking in terms of, Halo or Gears or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just, we'll see. Maybe we're just old crotchety men.
It might be, but I think, it's partly the consumer's fault. Where it's like, we respond way too well to these things. Like, if you think about it, we just watched the summer announcement season. And, like, from the perspective of, like, you get way more excited for seeing a known quantity coming back than you do something else that's not new. And I think we might have been doing that. We might have been harsh on that too. Like, where it's like, oh, it's something we don't know. It's something, we're picking it apart. And it's like,
but you also need, I hear you and I agree with you. I just think that it's also a part of like, give me some gameplay.
No, yes, 100%. But, I try to be very encouraging of new things where it's like the Expedition 33 game looked cool. They showed us a sliver of the gameplay. It's turn-based. That's interesting. That's new. It's not new. It's actually old.
Yeah.
But it's maybe they, I think that's a really interesting problem you could tackle. Not a problem, but like a unique gameplay. How can we modernize the turn-based model? I think that's been a issue people have been trying to tackle for a long time. Yeah. So maybe they can do that. Maybe that can make them stand out.
Maybe
it looked good. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like that's exciting. But I guess my point is, like, what do you think that trailer's view count on YouTube individually is versus E-Day announcement or any remake? Pick any remake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
I guess that's like what I'm trying to say is like it's people are responding more to these and it's like a feedback loop.
If it wasn't a lucrative thing or if they didn't see numbers go up, like we wouldn't be seeing any of this. So I get it. I get the business rationale behind it. It's just like for me personally, it's like it's hard for me to get excited on like Black Ops 6 whenever it's like although but the thing that made me excited about it is when you started seeing the movement and seeing the things they were putting in there. Look at Starfield. It was like, I don't care about Starfield at all. As they were showing like some dude just flying into space and things. And then they showed the gameplay and it's like, oh wait, we're actually like psyched about this. So I think that's the thing is like people are excited to put their game out there, but they're not, but it's like, it's not ready yet. Yeah. And I feel like that's also the thing that they fall into is it's just like, here's a CGI thing. Like Left 4 Dead did that, where it was like, here's a CGI thing of Left 4 Dead. And technically, when you do the breakdown of the trailer, everything in the trailer is in the game, where it's like, oh, you saw this and you saw how they reacted in this. But like, nobody's going to know that until they play the game and then go back and watch it and be like, oh, isn't that a cool thing? Like, so, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just like...
I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say either, but I'm just angry at everything.
Mini shoot adventures. Good.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. It's fun so far.
What is it?
It's I don't love the art style. It looks like a Flash game, basically. But it's a top down. You're a little space fighter, and it's like almost like a bullet hell open world game. So it's like you have the kind of like this overworld that you're going through, and you just basically unlock different powers, and it's almost Metroidvania in that respect, where it's like, oh, you get a dash, and now you can go to a new area and stuff, and it's just a bunch of enemies are trying to shoot you, and you dodge them, and then you kill a couple bosses. I beat 2 bosses so far. I'm only like maybe an hour and a half in. I think there's 4 bosses total till the next thing. So it's like I'm flying through it. Like it's not a long game.
Yeah.
But it's well made. It feels good. But that's a perfect example. It's like there's no story. I don't think it's necessarily up your alley. Like it's fun, but do I think you need to run out and buy it? No.
It's on the top lists this year for Open Critic,
But
which goes to show.
It's just, it feels good. Like It's like, okay, everything's here. It feels good. You get it.
I'm actually
it's
curious
rewarding.
How many reviewers? Sorry.
Yeah, that's really it. Like I did that. I did a little bit of Animal Well. And I think they're both very similar in the way that they don't really tell you a lot, right? So this is in the same vein of like your Dead Cells. It's in the same vein of what was it? Hyper Light Drifter. It's like, where it's just like Tunic. It's just a big world. Go explore, figure it out, like that sort of thing. Not on like an Elden Ring level. Like it's not like a million like secret little things here and there, but it doesn't really hold your hand. It just drops you in and says, hey, help me find my, I don't know, spiritual essence. And then you just go and fly around and do cool stuff. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's like I just need these quick game hits. And I played, like I said, Ghost of Tsushima. And I tried, man, I think the Japanese voiceover is really good, and I wish I could play that game with that, but there's so much dialogue, and as I'm trying to like ride a horse through a meadow and read the dialogue, it's just too hard. I can't, so I put it back to English, and
I think most people play it on English dub.
That's the default. It's just what I'm saying. Like, and this is similar to what I was doing with Godzilla or -1. Where it was like I watched it in Japanese with English subtitles because I just think that it was just better acted and like it felt more authentic, I guess, because it's like, okay, like you want to be in Japan, like here you go,
right?
Having them actually like speak in Japanese just felt
more immersive.
Yeah. But I couldn't understand a thing that they were saying, and there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah. So. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
But you're not sold on that game yet?
Not yet. I just unlocked the stealth stuff.
Okay.
So I'm maybe like an hour or 2 in, and it just got to that point, and it's it's not Assassin's Creed. I get that, but Assassin's Creed, especially Odyssey, is very good with the like sneak around the map, take out everybody stealthily in the camp and things like that. That's the game I want. If this is not that game, that's fine, but that's what I was hoping for when I was playing it, so I need to like maybe adjust my expectations with it.
Interesting. Okay.
But I think the combat's pretty good. It feels good.
People love that game, man.
I have Elden Ring installed. I just gotta...
You said you were going to play it.
Yeah. I have no desire to play the DLC. If people are like, oh, it's so hard, it's hard, it's blah, 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 and everyone's just like, it's
well,
not hard.
I think Jeff was saying it's equal difficulty, which is hard. Yeah. So, I don't know. I have no idea.
I like Souls games up to the point of like, oh, here's your challenge or some just BS like, oh,
he said he died how many times? Like hundreds of times?
Yeah, I want to say it was like 200 something, like 260, something like that.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I couldn't do that.
I mean, I understand the concept. You overcome a challenge and that feels amazing.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like maybe if I was younger and I was like off of school for the summer, I could do that.
Yeah.
But I have to work. Like I'm just like picturing I have to work tomorrow and I'm up and I'm trying to beat this boss and I can't beat it and I lose 25 times and then I have to go to bed and wake up. And I had made no progress. That would feel so bad, dude.
I guess that's your progress, right? Like once you beat
You're getting
it,
better,
it doesn't
sure.
go back, yeah.
But it's hard to quantify that until you beat it.
Look, I'm sure it feels real good. I'm sure
Of
it does.
course. Overcoming any hurdle
Yeah.
feels great. Of course, you're accomplishing something. You're getting better. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like that aspect in multiplayer games. Like League, there's a rank.
Mm-hmm.
I can compare myself to other people based on what rank I have. I'm playing against other people. For some reason, it makes more sense to me in that context than a single player game. And I'm not saying you can't have that in a single player game. Obviously, Souls games do that, and it's very popular and it works. But just the way my brain's wired, I only get that from.
Imagine losing 260 games of Tekken before.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't get close to that. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you need some you need some more positive. But maybe you get like positivity from like, oh, I got halfway down this time, or 3/4 this time, or something, or I got to phase 2, and that's like your positive feedback.
It's dumb because I think if I was gonna do one, I would actually do Lies of P. Like that was the only one that
Jeff
I played.
raved it. That was his game of the year, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I should know that.
Yeah.
If Jeff's listening, apologies.
I think his game of the year was like Warcraft Rumble or something.
I didn't count that in my head.
Okay.
It's a mobile game.
We're going to get a text. That's fine.
Dude, okay, yeah, probably. Anyways, that's everything on the list. I don't know if you wanted to touch any of the D&D stuff, but...
Yeah, we had some crazy D&D stuff. Harbin, if you're listening, stop listening.
I don't think he listens to us, but...
I think he did. I think he
well, hey, we don't have to touch it.
No, that's fine. We had some... We had a D&D thing. We did... I'll call it a. You guys fought a. I don't want to call it a boss. Like you fought a ghost in D&D.
I consider it a boss. But
yeah, it was a tough fight.
Yeah,
and there were 5 people, right? Or 5 party members, and 2 of you died.
Yeah,
and that's how it ended. Like it was just like, okay, and Jeff and Nate are dead.
Yep.
And then it was like, we'll pick this up next week. But that was the big thing. Like I don't think you guys got incredibly far. Like you learned a lot, which is good.
Yeah. I thought we got much more accomplished in last session, which was spent getting over a ravine.
Yeah.
Which was very fun.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. I had a blast doing that.
Yeah.
But this was like progressed the story much more because we learned some context.
Learned context, got some items, opened up some passageways.
Yeah, right, exactly.
A lot of nat 1s and nat 20s were rolled,
which is my favorite sessions.
Yeah. It was very challenging.
A lot more ones, dude. We got brutalized. We rolled so poorly.
Yep.
We got aged 40 years.
It was three of us
got aged 40 years,
which ended up killing Nate just because he was just too old. Yeah.
Jeff was one that got aged?
No, Jeff was fine.
Who else got aged?
It was Nate, Dwayne.
Oh, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
And that's the big thing is that she doesn't look like she aged, which is a whole bag of questions, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an elf, so.
Yeah, you didn't feel it at all. Yeah. But it was interesting because it was the day before 4th of July, so everyone was drinking and kind of feeling it. But then we just kind of, it was like this abrupt, like, hey, you killed the ghost, good job. 2 of your party members are dead. And then I think that eventually, and this is what I was talking to you about yesterday, where it's like, the dust kind of settles, and then people were like, wait, what? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
So I kind of like the abruptness there, but the way that Nate did it is he took a die for him and Jeff. So there were 2 D20s in this little box, and he shook it and he put it at the side, and they were rolling death saves, right? And they were both at two X's, and he rolled it and he put it on a side, and I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, these are the final rolls. So I just took the box from him, and I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm going to see what this is, and I'll work it into the story. And he tried getting it back. He's like, oh, I got to see it. I'm like, no. Like, we'll tell it. And that was kind of how everything played out is Ryan kills the ghost or does like the final strike on it or something. The ghost dissipates, but then the spirits of Jeff and Nate. And then he opens the box, and they both rolled, and it was like, you didn't roll too great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very well done. I thought you did a good job setting the scene there.
I'm very excited to see how the group role plays it next week. As far as talk through it because you're two less now.
I really am trying to. When you have these big events in recent times, I've been trying to be very thoughtful about how my character responds, and because these are very defining moments on like what shapes your character. So I'm trying to be like very thoughtful about it. So I'm glad I get a week to. Because if that happened in the middle of the session, like you're like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of pressure. But I think it worked out perfectly. Where it's like, okay, everyone gets to kind of decompress, reflect on what happened, and decide their next moves.
Which is like a double-edged sword, right? Because in the moment, how you guys would handle it, like frantically or whatever, would be interesting if it happened like mid-session.
Yeah.
But I think for the game narrative and how to like kind of weave in like, okay, like this is what you're thinking and feeling and stuff. And I feel like the added time will let you guys kind of articulate a little bit better.
It's tough because like in real life, obviously you want to capture that, like you said, frantic nature, spontaneity. Yeah. But the problem is, since you're actually not that character, I think sometimes when you have those gut reactions, you reflect on that, and in hindsight, you're like, oh, maybe my character wouldn't have done that because that's more of a me. Like Jon did that, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to be really dialed in with your character. That's a very tough challenge. Well, I think everyone strive to do.
Messaging everyone, so that's gonna be my kind of homework for tomorrow. Is like message everyone, try to open up a dialogue with everyone, see how they're all feeling.
Yeah.
Presumably Nate and Jeff are making new characters, so we gotta get that taken care of and figure out how that getting worked into the story.
Man, that was a crazy session. Very eventful, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think Harbin's coming next week. I think that's he said he's probably not going to. So by the time he comes back, it's going to be kind of wild.
So we're still going to keep it under wraps for all that time.
I think so. Best. I mean, there's every chance that he just is like, nah, I'm not going to pause it, and just listens to it and is like, hey, surprise. But that's the idea. Is He's just gonna come back, and
I'm very much looking forward to that. That's like a big plot twist.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
By the way. Yeah. Anyways, all right. That's all we have.
Yep.
If you made it this far, appreciate you. Check us out, couchcompany.games. Got everything up on there. And yeah, we're gonna be here same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Peace.